This summer, I worked a job at Five Below, and one of my main takeaways and experiences that I learned while working that job is that people do not know how to raise their kids anymore, man. And I understand that I'm young and that I'm not a parent, so I'm probably not the best to like tell people how to raise their kids and shit. But they would just come into the store while I worked at Five Below and just let their kids do absolutely anything, bruh. Like, they wouldn't even raise their voice at them. They wouldn't even be paying attention to them. They would like, bruh, people would come into the store and just completely neglect their kids. Their kids will be like knocking shit all the way off the shelves, making huge messes, like whining, doing other like straight just destroying or stealing merchandise sometimes, and the parents would just be shopping on their own like nothing's happening. Or like what's even worse, in my personal opinion, because it just like I don't know, it just pisses me off more when I see it, is like when someone when someone comes in, right, and they're like actually with their kid and their kid just misbehaving in front of them, and they're like aware of it too, and they're just telling their kid, like, imagine the kid's name is like Timothy. There's like, Timothy, stop. Timothy, I told you no. Timothy, stop. I'm just like, ma'am, grab your kid, yell at your kid. Like, I understand we're in the age of gentle parenting, but it gets to a point, right? And the thing that's even stupider, right, is as like a retail employee, most like big corporations, when you're a retail employee, there's like so many things you like can't do. Like, you're not allowed to tell their kid to stop. You're not allowed to stop the kid from doing anything. You just have to pick up the shit and the mess they make after they do it. But you're not allowed to really like stop them, other than like maybe telling the parent. But even then, my managers would like advise against that most of the time because it's like rude or whatever. So you just have to watch the kids like fuck up the whole store, create more work for you, and you just have to kind of sit there and just like, you can't even look mad about it really, because like you can't be like frowning at the register or frowning just like as an associate in the store. Every day when I would see this, right, I would almost like compare it with like how I was raised, and I would consider myself to be raised with not very strict parents, like at all, especially compared to a lot of people I've met in my day, right? And but even then, if I were to break something in the store, my parents would make me pick it up, and then they would like pay for it and stuff. But then they would also like discipline me and stuff, and like be mad at me, obviously. Bro, the parents would come in there, their kid would like break like five things, pay for none of it. They wouldn't clean it up, they wouldn't make their kid clean it up, so then we would have to clean it up. And like they would just act like nothing's happened, and then sometimes even be like mad at you, which is like crazy low key. Like, and then there's something that's also just as common, which is low key even crazier, is that sometimes parents will come in to the store and be more disrespectful, more rude, and more rambunctious than the kids themselves. And it's like the kid is more mature than the parent. I'm like, bro, this is so wild. Like, there's so many like grown up babies that are just exist within the world, bro. It's insane. And I didn't realize like how much of the adult population acted like this until I worked like a real or until I worked like a retail job, right? This isn't like my first ever job, obviously, but like this is my first retail job, and bro, there's so many like adult toddlers that just don't even, it's insane. They'll be like super rude, yelling at like associates and stuff like that over stuff that's their fault. And then their kid will be like so polite, like saying hi, telling you have a good day when they leave, like telling you thank you when you hand them a receipt, stuff like that. Really good manners, things that their parents clearly don't have. It almost makes you wonder like where they're learning it from, and it's just insane. Something I also didn't realize, like the full extent of until I started working at Five Below, just how many iPad kids there are, bro. Like another thing with like parents just don't want to raise their kids nowadays. The second their kid turns like 3, 4, any age, old enough to where they can like walk and somewhat talk on their own, they just give them either a phone or like a tablet or some type of device, so they just don't have to watch them. They're just watching YouTube all day, watching Coco Melon all day, watching TikTok all day, watching Reels all day, watching YouTube Shorts all day, on and on, just forever on social media or just forever on streaming apps, just like not even like doing anything. this, and then I don't even get the point of bringing them into the store if they're just going to be glued to their device the whole time. It's just insane. Like, kids don't know how to do anything, and the thing is, all of them aren't even just like little ass kids, like, or talking about kids 3, 4, and 5. That's just when it starts. The screen time, it just goes up, it doesn't go down. So it's like by the time they're like 10 or 11, they don't even know how to be like using self-checkout. They don't know how to like count money. They don't know how to like check the price tags of things, like just basic shopping shit. And it's just like actually insane, as like they can't even like shop in the store and look for what they want without like being on TikTok or being on some type of social media. It's like crazy. Like, I can only imagine what their screen time in a day must be. But on the other end of the spectrum, instead of like parents neglecting their kids, which there's also something which is like almost just as bad as like the completely other end, where like parents completely spoiling their kids, like, or like when raising them, just giving them whatever they want. There's so many like kids that are like 4, 5, 6 come in with their parents, and their parents will buy them like $200 plus worth of stuff, not even on their birthday, not even for some holiday, just as like a normal like Saturday afternoon for them, right? And it's just like, bro, at Five Below, $200 plus worth of stuff is an insane amount of things. Like, that could be upwards of like 50, 60 toys or more, or like that could be so many tech items. That's so much food. Like, that's actually just like so many items. That's like 2 carts worth of shit. And this would happen like 2, 3 times a day on like a Saturday, which might not sound like a lot, but our store was pretty slow, so that's like pretty frequent. And it's just like, bro, it's just insane. And then also there's like with the spoiling kids, just like never trying to tell their kids no to anything, even if their kids like causing mayhem in the store, breaking stuff, like just being a general nuisance. They'll never tell their kid no. They'll never try to imagine their kid in the wrong. Like, they'll, like, for example, if their kid wants a toy and we're like, or just a specific item, and we don't have it in the store, like we're sold out or we haven't gotten a shipment in yet, etc., like, they will, or it's just something we just straight up don't carry, that like they'll always just like, their parents will hound us to like check in the back, and then we'll check in the back, we're like, we still don't have it. They're like, why don't you have it? Online they said it would have it, which is dumb, because obviously not all Five Below locations carry the exact same stock. Also, sometimes we run out of stock, or we don't have stock in yet, but we're going to have it, etc. And it's just like, they just cannot accept their kid not having exactly what they want, the exact way it's gonna be. Like, it's insane. This is just like an overall summary of so many like different experiences and stories I have while working at this job. This is just like an overview of what I know, which is like that parents don't really know how to raise their kids anymore, or are just like doing a horrible job at it. Like, but I have so many like individual stories while working at this job. It's like crazy. And considering I was only working this job like a little over 2 months, the amount of stories I have is not what I expected, especially since our store was relatively small and like not popular. Like, it was not in a high population area, so you wouldn't think I'd have this many stories, because some days probably only be like 100, maybe 200 people that come in, compared to other stores which would have like in the thousands.